Sole trader versus limited company. 5 lessons from my move to incorporation. Welcome back to season 17 of the Zulf Talks podcast. You're joining me on this journey. We're going through it step by step. And you'll recall I've got episodes specifically for sections of the podcast, different seasons, on zulftalks.com. Show resources, you can check them out. I eventually hit a fork in the road. How should the business actually be structured? Many people get stuck in analysis paralysis here. I started my journey as a sole trader, but eventually the growth forced me to evolve. Today I'm sharing the raw differences between the two. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't advice. This is my journey. I'm just letting you know what I did, why I did it, and hopefully that can help you. Remember, powered by my experiences running trustedcreators.org, so you can choose the right foundation for your own journey.
Working for yourself, I know you love it. Working for yourself, cause I love it too. Working for yourself, Zulf talks about it, making it easy for you. Working for yourself, go be your own boss. Working for yourself, Zulf will help you along. Working for yourself, powered by trusted creators, zulftalks.com.
Choosing your structure is about more than just paperwork. It's about where you want it to go. It's all about what you plan. Sometimes what you do, how well you do, forces you to go into another part of the business world without realizing. That's what happened to me. So let me quickly go through a few of these points so you know what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about the starting line. We're going to talk about the trigger point, the admin reality check, the hidden costs, and the director's mindset. All of these are key moments you want to consider in your journey before you get there. So today's episode is going to give you a nice point because it's my personal experience. It's what I went through. I'm going to just talk to you about it and you decide which bits are helpful. Why did I go in as a sole trader? I found out I was doing online content creation. It wasn't doing that bad. We're talking about 15 years ago here, 14 years ago. I started making money. I was like, okay, I've got a job. I'm making money in this as well. Do I need to do anything? Given I was in financial industry, so that was like I was already a little bit clued up that, okay, if I'm making more money, I need to let the government know because obviously it's more income. So at that point, I had my standard salary. I was earning more money on the side. I looked online. Luckily, in the UK, whatever you say, we've got enough information out there. You just have to find it. You have to search for it. Yeah. But a lot of people out there are talking about this. Jump over on YouTube. I'm earning money. It's a lot more easy now. There's a lot more people out there making it. All you want to do is make sure you're aware that any income you've got, at some point, if you're making income, you have to pay your share of the tax. There's a whole other kettle of fish if you feel like it's, you get a good return for the tax you're paying and stuff. I might do a separate season about tax in the UK, but it's meant to be there to help look after everybody. You're in a country half stable, kind of at the moment, not excellent, but you know what I mean. So you want to make sure you're paying your way. So I was making the money. Let me give you an example. I was like, early on, I was making 300, 400 pounds. I'm talking about a year there. And then slowly, I was like, you know what? If I put more effort into this, I could easily make this 200-300 a year into 30,000, 40,000 if I double down and triple down on what I'm doing. Because if it's making me this money with the lack of effort I'm putting in back then, potentially there's, is another revenue source. The next year I did a bit more and I made £1,500 a year. And that was my testing period. If you remember back in this season 17, like I was saying, don't quit your day job. You want to look through, is your idea going to work? So I doubled down, tripled down. I was like, okay, that's doable. So I earned more money. I was like, okay, now that I've earned more money, what do I need to do? I went online. It said, if you earn over £1,000 income, you need to start filling out a self return. like a self-assessment online. And at that point, I went online, I went through the application on the government website and said, okay, I've started making money. I'll use my name. This is my name as my, company name at that point, self-employed. And then I started doing the return. It wasn't too bad. It was simply the case of I had to keep a track of how much did I make? What did I spend? Simple spreadsheet, 2 separate pages on the spreadsheet. On one spreadsheet, one worksheet of the spreadsheet. I was logging, okay, I spent this amount on this day. I paid with this method of payment. And I kept that going. And then at the end of the year, when I needed to do my tax return, I just added up all the columns. I said, okay, I spent this much money. I went to the other column. I went to my bank statement, found all the payments I got from AdSense, Google, all the online sources, and then put the figures in. And it was simple as, I made this much money. It cost me this much. This is my profit. And I filled that all out online. I did that for a couple of years. Slowly, as things progressed, I started working out that, wait a minute, I'm making more than I think I am here. Should I be doing this in a better way? Went online, looked. This was a trigger point. So you remember, we've got the starting line. That's what I was doing. The trigger point was, I realized I'm making more money here now. So when I do my tax returns, I'm paying tax here. This is like 22%, 20%, whatever it was at the time. And I was like, can I do this better? Because I want to be able to, pay myself a wage out of it. I want to be able to do other expenses. Is there a better way of doing this? Started looking at the limited company options. How much does it cost to set up a limited company? What does that mean? How does that benefit me? The admin reality check. Because daily, you having to log all those things when you're rolling up the business, making it bigger. Your money is in your account. Your company's money is there. Should I set up a separate bank account? And at that point, the trigger was, okay, to set up a bank account in a company name, I need to set up a company. Because I couldn't have a personal account at that point. You could use it for like low stuff back in the day, for like little transactions. But if you were making serious money, the advice is to have a bank account in the company's name, which meant I had to set up a company bank account after setting up a company. Got to an accountant, found loads of online accountants. The first one I got was totally rubbish, but they were online on YouTube making lots of videos like there's some fancy show, but they weren't very good. And I had loads of problems with them. Mainly because the accountant on the YouTube channel wasn't the accountant I got. And like over the 3-4 years I was with them, every year the accountants kept leaving. I had to get a new accountant, even though the firm was still there. The accountants kept leaving the firm, so obviously something wasn't going on well there. So there's a check there, admin check, what you do, how you do it. There's hidden costs. So I had to look at, okay, I'm working on myself. I'm doing my self-employment. I know what I need to do. I fill out my tax return. This is the cost, which is basically just tax. But for hidden costs, there's going to be the accounting fees. There's going to be, can they pay for themselves? Do they show you new ways of saving money? Does the maths actually work out? So self-employment, when I was doing that, it was very easy, very cheap. I had a spreadsheet, logged everything. In this day and age, things are going digital. So you're going to have to pay for some type of software to make it like log all the receipts and everything. So it's very different environment now. So if you can keep that in mind when you're doing your journey now, it'll be better for you, because you can quite early on like find a good one. Don't use QuickBooks. I used QuickBooks, and it ties you in. It ties you in at a point that leaving them is very hard. I was planning to like move over to another firm, and I went through like the leaving process of QuickBooks, and it's very ridiculous. They don't let you download all your receipts and invoices and stuff, so you can go to another software provider. They make you do it manually. So like it's very like, they make it very difficult for you to leave them. They'll tie you in. So that's a mistake. And I'm doing some research around that to move to another provider for like software for accounting. So I'll keep you in tune with that in later episodes when we get to that point. Also, remember the hidden costs involve other things. If you set up a company, there are some benefits, there are some downsides, because in the company's name, you can have company broadband, you can have company laptops specifically in the company name, you can position your payroll, you can pay staff, you can get more. It opens up a bigger wide like net for you. So if you're making enough money, the key amount is about over 25, 30, 40,000 pounds. Think about limited company. Over 50,000, definitely think about limited company. There are things there that could probably help you there. How you take the money out, how the profits are kept, how you're paying tax. At the moment with the tax changes coming on, they're getting very close, like self-employed or company in terms of the benefits, but consider it. I feel like there's loads of elements there around sole trader and limited company. Limited company, think about it as like you've got a separate entity set up, and you've got a little bit of protection in terms of people go to the company as opposed to you're an employee for the company, and it triggers things differently, how you think about things. Your admin differences in real life. So instead of logging receipts and stuff in a spreadsheet, I have to take a photo of the receipt, I have to upload it to the software, then once a week or once a month, depending on how busy I was for that period, if I had loads of expenses, I'll go in and match up my bank account with the receipt and then type in that this is this, and I'll kind of go through them. If you keep on top of it, it's okay, just don't let them pile up. There are cost differences obviously for the software and things that you need, but that's digital now, so we're going to have to keep that in mind. It's going to be a cost of doing business. There's a mental shift when you incorporate into a company. It's like a little bit more serious. You've got a company there and you're an employee for your company. You can hire staff, you can do interviews, and hopefully you get very successful and you get people on board that will help you, because you can't run a business alone. You want as many people as possible to help make it easy as possible for you. What do I think in today's economy? I think if you're making enough money, a limited company has its benefits. Speak to a financial advisor or someone and find out what could work for you. Where possible, I think if I was a sole trader now, I wouldn't be as successful as I am, given I've got a limited company. It's got a different tier, and you've got more options, you've got more things you can do. I feel like it was the right decision to make, setting up a limited company, even though it cost me a bit of money to keep it going. I feel like I've got more choices, I've got more options to do. So it feels like I'm in a stronger position. That's like my personal opinion about it. And also, it's very important how you pay yourself. So in the next episode, episode 5, is high value. It's a confusing topic, but I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible. How do you pay yourself? Sole trader is like everything you make, that's yours. In a limited company, it works totally different. You have to actually pay yourself an amount and take like dividends and all these fancy things. So I'm going to try and explain in plain English. So stay tuned for the next episode, and that will be about how I pay myself and why it's better maybe as a sole director limited company. Some points around like key things you need to think about. I'll see you on the next episode. It'd be really good if you can leave a review wherever you're listening to this. The show resources are available at zulftalks.com.